This is Fred Beck from Boxing Productions TV, and today we're joined by Harvey Morgan, also known as Coach Harvey. Before we start, do you think this sunglasses are really necessary, especially if it's in the evening?
Boxing coaches must look intimidating at all times, Fred. It's mandatory for the job.
Alright, so how are you, Harvey?
Okay, that's a good point, I'm taking them off.
How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. So tell me a bit about yourself and your boxing story.
Boxing coach. Been involved in boxing from a junior and run a boxing gym now called Legends Boxing Gym. Enjoy teaching others the fabulous sport and the technical side of boxing.
And you boxed as an amateur?
Yeah, I had a couple of fights as an amateur. It was different back then. Never really wanted to do it as a professional. It never really come to that really. I'm a heating engineer by trade, so I decided to do that. But it's just a sport. I think it's a good place for kids to go, get involved with each other and you know, learn, get fit and get your confidence up.
Alright, so moving on to the questions. So, as you know, you're good mates of Kell Brook and Dominic Ingle. What do you think about the fight between Kell Brook and Terence Crawford?
Great fight, great fight. Fight the one that the fans are waiting to see. Waiting to see Kell back in action. I'm a big Kell fan anyway, but I think Terence Crawford is obviously fantastic, doing well at the weight. Needs some serious competition. Amir Khan's not that competition. So, and you know, you can never write Kell Brook off. He's a superior athlete when he's on his game.
But Kell's only had a couple of warm-up fights and they're against low-class competition.
Low class?
Low-class
as
competition.
In Golovkin?
Yeah, before Golovkin in 2016, it's 2020 now.
Yeah, but we've had corona, we've had injuries, you know, so you can't write anyone. I would say someone, you could apply that adage to most people, but you can't apply that to people that are the elites like Kell Brook. Somebody can make weight that is a natural middleweight, to make welterweight and be able to make welterweight.
But can he cut down to 147 again?
I think he can now if there's no rush. If you're trying to do it in 10 weeks, you're asking an older body to do a lot. But apparently, right now Kell's in fantastic shape. He's not too far off the weight. So all he's got to do is do the cut, do the water flush, and drop in. I think he'll make it. And I think it's a fantastic fight. And yeah, I think it's a 50-50 fight.
And speaking of Golovkin, do you think it was Golovkin's fault or Eddie Hearn's fault for putting Kell Brook in with Golovkin?
No, Kell got offered the fight. He took the fight. You know, who was it was supposed to have the fight at the time? It was Chris Eubank Jr., wasn't it? Supposed to have the fight. He got offered it. He bottled it. Didn't want to know. Most people didn't want to know though. And then Kell had a little think about it and thought, do you know what? I'll have it. I
think it's partly because Kell wasn't motivated to fight at the time, and even though Eddie Hearn had to make fake fight dates to motivate him. Different
fighters fight for different reasons, and I think Kell's a fear fighter. Unless his adrenaline's pumping, you're never going to see the best of Kell Brook. And Kell needs to be put in a fearful situation. At that time of him holding the title, Jesse Vargas, people like that.
He could have gone for a unification fight with Jesse Vargas, and he would have won. He would have
not interested in the money went on the table as far as I know. I don't know really, but I don't think the money was on the table. I don't think they wanted the fight. You've got to remember, they say, oh, we'll have the fight, but we'll give you a tiny percentage when it comes down to the figures in the business. And I don't think the money was there. And Kell wants, if you're going to do a 10-week training camp, 12-week training camp away from your family, you need to get paid for it, especially if you're holding the belt. All right, so there's no point doing that for no reason. So nothing was really motivating him. That's why when he was offered the Golovkin fight, I think Kell said, do you know what, I'll have some of that. Who would step up 2 weights and fight the baddest man on the planet at the time? Not even his own weight class.
Prime Golovkin as well.
Yeah, prime Golovkin. And Kell was the first one that exposed Golovkin for being human. Before that, people thought he was some sort of a cyborg.
So clearly, talking about Kell Brook, you're a big Kell Brook fan.
Well, I'm a fan of British boxers, and I'm a fan of British boxers that are willing to put their legacy on the line and get involved and fight the best of the best. And he's doing that with Crawford, isn't he? You know, where's Amir Khan? Disappeared. Never took the fight against Kell, and disappointing from a boxing fan's point of view. Should have took that fight. He didn't mind losing to Crawford because he could say, well, I lost to the best. Definitely didn't want to lose to Kell Brook, and he knew he would. You know, Kell's took that opportunity and said, well, I'll fight you.
And you don't think Kell Brook beats him, or you think it's a coin toss?
Well, it's a cracking fight. It's a cracking fight. You know, and anything Crawford learned, he definitely learnt from the Ingles, watching people like Errol Graham from years ago. There's not too many switch hitters in history, and a lot of them come out of Sheffield. Some of the greats, you know, Nazim.
Okay, moving down a couple of weights, back down to lightweight. Social media star Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell. It's happening sometime in November in America. Most casual fans are I think most casual fans are writing Luke Campbell off, but then all hardcore boxing fans think that Luke Campbell has got an easy night with Ryan Garcia. What do you think?
Well, you know, 2 others at the weight as well. You know, you've got Lomachenko and you've got Teofimo Lopez. That fight coming up. So, but going back to that fight, you think about it. If Lomachenko couldn't knock Campbell out, then there's no chance of Ryan Garcia knocking Campbell out, is there? So when it comes down to boxing skills, Campbell's got that ticket. So for me, Campbell wins on points.
How I think if it does go to decision, and Ryan Garcia is since Ryan Garcia is a more popular fighter, I think Campbell could get robbed, but only if it goes to decision.
Well, there's always bad decisions in boxing, you know, I mean, over the years, but I think that, you know, I think Campbell boxed his head off. You've got to remember, he's a gold medalist in the Olympics. You know, this kid's a thoroughbred boxer. And you can't take away the amateur experience, especially at international level. And he's got that with him. And Ryan doesn't catch him. You know, he's not going to get him to the ropes and knock him out. He's not a bum. He's going to, Campbell will just circle him, box his head off and teach him how to box. And it's going to be one of those displays.
And moving...
The Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko.
Some great fights at lightweight as well.
Fantastic fight, and maybe, you know, the winners out of each one can fight the winner out of each one. So it's a good round robin, depending on the promoters and how that works out. But for me,
no, the mandatory for Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell is Devin Haney.
Okay, so Devin Haney's in the mix as well. I think Teofimo Lopez knocks out Lomachenko. There's a statement, and that's going to put, and I'm going to put £100 on that. That's £100 on my money.
Looking at the odds, you get 170 back. That's good odds.
Fantastic.
Or if you put it on knockout, it would be even better.
He's definitely knocking him out, because I think the kid's got that number. You know,
he's only 24 years old.
He's a pressure angle fighter. He's like a toffee hammer. He's going to break you down. You're not knocking Lopez out with one of them tappy shots. And he's definitely got the young skill and ability.
He's got the hunger as well. It's Lomachenko got the hunger still.
He's not scared. He's coming for him. That's a cracking fight, and I think if it doesn't go to a knockout, it's going to be fight of the decade.
Well, and if it goes to distance, Loma.
No, I think it's a 50-50. Both of them boys are going to need some time off.
Yeah.
After that fight, yeah, they're going to need some time off. They're going to need a nice holiday and rest, without a doubt.
Okay, now moving down another weight, down a super featherweight. Gervonta Davis, Floyd Mayweather's protege, is fighting Leo Santa Cruz in October. I believe, and so as most people believe, this is his toughest test since he fought Jose Pedraza in 2017. The only thing about it being a super featherweight is that it's going down weight, and Gervonta Davis isn't good at cutting weight. He's missed weight. I think 5 or 4 times he's missed weight.
Yeah, it's a few times. That's very unprofessional. At the end of the day, you know, if you're a professional boxer, you've got to be professional. It's a bit like me or you not, turning up late for work, or missing days and not phoning in. You can't do that. You're employed to do a job, and the number one thing was to make weight, especially if you're defending a title. You can't have a title, have a belt, not make weight, and then lose the title on the scales, especially when your opponents train that hard. I think it's the right time for him to fight Santa Cruz. It's always pick and fights, you pick the person that you want to fight. He's a name. Santa Cruz is a name. But Santa Cruz was a name 5 years ago. He's
only lost to Cole Frampton. I mean, he beat him again after that.
Yeah, he's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong, they're fantastic fighters, but it's the right time for Davis as a young, strong, up-and-coming fighter to take a name like Santa Cruz. In all respect to Santa Cruz for taking the fight, I mean, he's a brilliant fighter, really good.
How I see Tank is he's a wilder power, but he can box as well. He's an elite boxer, and he can punch as well.
Yeah, he's a fighter. I mean, he's got that.
You have to have a good chin to fight Tank as well.
Yeah, he's got that spirit inside of him. He's a good fighter. But talking about Mayweather, isn't Mayweather supposed to be coming back and fighting somebody else?
Yeah. Logan Paul apparently.
Oh, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Come on. Does that make you 51-0 now? Terrible.
Yeah, probably will. And last question, out of all the heavyweights, who do you think's the best, number 1?
I tell you, I love that. I really, really like up and coming Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
I just think it's a great, because he come from West London. I think he boxed with Dale Youth as a kid. Good school.
He was watching your boy spar, Adam Latresh, down at Repton.
He watched. Al Adams gone to Repton now. And Daniel Bryan was watching him spar the other day on his first day that he went down there for a trial, and luckily Adam got in. But there's some great heavyweights in England, and you know, some great fights to be made between the promoters. So we've still got, you know, we've got the Fury fight with.
So
with
who do you think wins, Fury or Joshua?
Well, how do you prepare for Fury? You know, if you're Joshua, what do you do? I mean, the guy's switching all the time.
Spar 2 people.
There you go. Why not we do that? Why don't we stick an orthodox and a southpaw in them at the same times, 30 seconds each, you have a go, you have a go, just to get some sort of, you know, movement and angles and footwork or something like that. But I'm sure they've got a training plan. But, you know, it's a great fight. Who do I think's the best? You know what? It's whoever turns up and puts those skills under the bright lights. They're both great fighters. That is sitting on the fence though a little bit. So if I was going to pick one, I'd say that Fury.
Yeah, Fury's the betting favourite right now.
Yeah, Fury boxes.
Most
better.
boxers say Fury. It's only Eddie Hearn's really saying Joshua at the moment.
Well, it depends on Joshua. It depends on the ring size, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Depends what ring size Eddie can get. If he can get a 24-foot ring, Olympic ring, then, you know, Tyson wins. If he can get a smaller ring, you know, Josh can cut him down and maybe get his shots off. But
and it's funny how Wilder is staying so quiet. He's only released like one statement since the Fury fight.
Is it funny that he's staying quiet? You know, that's a hard loss, isn't it? That's a big fall to fall down from a man that put himself on the top of the planet and said, I'm the greatest, I'm the best, you know, and then to lose is that, you know, probably had to regather, go off, lick his wounds, and just, you know, have a little think about where he wants to get out of boxing and get some of that confidence back as well. I mean, let's face it, he didn't just lose on points like the first fight,
got demolished.
Or the draw. Yeah, he got demolished. All
right, thank you very much for your time, Harvey. How can people find you?
Find me. You can find me here on the bench, or you can find me at Harvey Morgan Boxing on Instagram, or you can come down our gym, which is Legends Boxing Gym under the arches of Kew Bridge.
It's been Fred Beck reporting.